We all know the story of a loud boy in a bright orange jumpsuit. Naruto Uzumaki is the ultimate story of a bright, shining hope. He is a boy who changed the heart of evil men with just his words. He promised to never give up, and the universe rewards him for it. But today we are going to open a forbidden file in the archives. We are going to ask a dark psychological question. What would happen if Gege Akutami wrote the story of Naruto? Gege is the creator of Jujutsu Kaisen. He is the writer who does not believe in the power of friendship. He believes in trauma, deep sacrifice, and a very cruel rules. If Gege took control of the Hidden Leaf village, everything would change. The bright blue sky over the ninja world would instantly turn black. The happy swing set outside the academy will become a symbol of pure dread. There will be no magical speeches to save the villains. No talk, no jutsu would not just fail, it would get you killed. Because in Gege's world, empathy is a massive weakness. The villagers do not want to be saved, they want to watch you cry while you burn your house down. If Gege wrote Naruto, the boy with the fox inside would never become Hokage. He would just be a walking time bomb waiting to explode. Let us look at the structure of the ninja village itself. In the original story, Hidden Leaf is seen as big, flawed family. The Hokage is a living grandfather figure who wanted to protect his people. But if Gege held the pen, the village would be a nightmare. It would act exactly like a corrupt Jujutsu headquarters. The village elders would not be funny old people offering advice. They would be a shadow of the government of a cold, evil politicians. They would view the young Genin as cheap, disposable garbage. Children going on missions would not be a fun coming up of age adventure. It would be a cruel meat grinder designed to weed out the weak. The tuning exams would not be a cool sports tournament. They would be exactly like the terrifying culling games. Young kids who would be forced to slaughter each other just for points. Rock Lee would not just lose his leg to Gaara in a sad fight. Gaara would crush Lee's entire body while the teachers watch in silence. Neji would not learn a nice lesson about changing his destiny. Neji will brutally murder Hinata to prove a dark point to his main branch. The village will not care about the mental health of these kids. They will only care about producing the sharpest, most brutal weapon. Now we must talk about the giant monster in the room, the nine-tailed fox. Kurama is the core of Naruto's power. In the origin story, they slowly learn to understand each other. They fist bump, share their names, and become ultimate best friends. But in Gege's dark universe, this would never, ever happen. Gege would give Kurama the exact same treatment he gave Sukuna. Kurama would not be a grumpy pet who secretly cares about the boy. Kurama would be a creature of pure, unfiltered, ancient evil. He would actively hate Naruto with every fiber of his being. He would not lend Naruto chakra to help him win cool fights. He will only give Naruto power to slowly corrupt his young mind. The hidden truth of this timeline is the psychological torture. Every time Naruto gets knocked out, Kurama would take the wheel. But he would not fight the bad guys to save the day. He would take over Naruto's body just to murder the people Naruto loves. Imagine Naruto waking up from a blackout with blood on his hands, and all he looks down to see his dead body of his teacher, Iruka Sensei. Kurama would laugh inside his head while Naruto screamed in pure horror. There is no friendship with a natural disaster. There's only hostage situations inside your own soul. Let us look at the famous Team 7 teacher, Kakashi Hatake. In Gege Akutami's world, Kakashi is the exact mirror of Satoru Gojo. He is the cool mass prodigy with a special eye that sees everything. He is the absolute peak of power in his generation. But just like Gojo, his amazing power would ruin his entire life. His Sharingan eye would not just drain his chakra, it will physically and mentally burn out his brain. He would be completely emotionally detached from his young students. He would read his dirty books just to distract himself from the depression. But the biggest change would happen during the middle of the story. If Gege's story, the strongest mentor cannot stick around to help. The village would create a terrifying, complex trap just to seal him away. Kakashi would be locked inside a dark dimension for years, and without the teacher to protect them, Team 7 would fall apart. They will be thrown to the wolves without a safety net. The kids would be forced to grow up in a matter of hours, and the moment here is that Kakashi's strength is actually a curse. By being so strong, he made his students weak and dependent on him. When he is finally removed from the board, the true horror begins. And we cannot talk about Naruto without talking about Sasuke. In the normal story, Sasuke is a confused boy who makes bad choices, but Naruto never gives up on him and they eventually make peace. In Gege's timeline, there is no happy reunion at the Valley of the End. Sasuke's descent into darkness would be absolute and completely permanent. He would follow the same exact path Maki or Geto did. He would look at the corrupt Hidden Leaf village and feel pure disgust. But he would not just talk about cool ninja revolution, Sasuke would become a true monster of the abyss. When he attacks the 5 Kage summit, he would not just act tough, he would casually slaughter innocent samurai without blinking an eye. And when Sakura finally tries to stop him with a poisoned knife, Gege would not let Kakashi or Naruto jump in to save her at the last second. Sasuke will look her right in her eyes and feel absolutely nothing while he put a Chidori right through her chest. The hidden horror of Gege's writing is that action here has consequences. Once you cross that line into darkness, you cannot just say, "Oh, I'm sorry," and leave. Sasuke will become a living curse of the Uchiha clan. He would be a tragedy that could only be stopped by death. If Gege wrote the lore to the Uchiha massacre, would be completely different. In the original story, Itachi is a tragic hero who made a hard choice. He killed his family to save his brother and stop a massive war. But Gege loves to use the cruel magic of binding vows. In the dark timeline, massacres would not be a political order, it would be a sick ancient magical contract. The Uchiha's clan power comes from extreme negative emotions and trauma. To unlock the ability to peak of the Sharingan, massive grief is required. Itachi will not kill his family to save the village, he will kill his family as a massive sacrifice to cheat the magic system. He would slaughter them all at the cost of permanent curse on Sasuke. He wanted to force Sasuke to experience the maximum amount of pain, because in Gege's logic, extreme suffering equals extreme power. Itachi was not a good brother trying to protect his little siblings, he was a mad scientist using his family as a blood experiment. The Uchiha clan was not betrayed by the government, they were consumed by the twisted rule of their own magic eyes. The Fourth Great Ninja War would not be a story of unity. It would not even end with all the villages holding hands together fighting a big alien. It would be a chaotic, miserable bloodbath in the mud. Madara Uchiha would drop meteors and the heroes would simply just die. There would not be no magical healing to save the army from destruction. Gege would kill off beloved characters without any warning. Shikamaru would die making a brilliant tactic plan that fails anyway. Tsunade would be ripped in half and she would not put herself back together. Naruto would not hand over magical chakra cloaks to save everyone. He will be fighting a desperate losing battle against his inner demon. The hidden truth of Gege's war arc is exhaustion. By the end of the story, the main character is not a shining hero. They are traumatized shells covered in the blood of their own friends. They do not win the war because they are the chosen ones of destiny. They only survive the war because everyone else is already dead. The battlefield would just be a quiet graveyard of shattered dreams. Let us look at the final ending of this dark alternate universe we created. In the bright story, Naruto achieves his dream of becoming Hokage. He sits in a big chair and everyone smiles at him. But if Gege Akutami wrote the final chapter, the ending would be deeply hollow. Naruto might actually sit in that big Hokage chair at the end, yes, but he would be missing an arm, an eye, and half of his soul. He would look out the window at the village that is half destroyed. He would realize that the title Hokage is completely meaningless if it's just a fancy chair sitting on top of a giant pile of corpses. He did not save the ninja world from a cycle of hatred, he just survived long enough to become part of the awful machine. The fox inside him would still be waiting for a moment of his weakness. The ghost of his dead friends would haunt his dreams every single night. This is the ultimate lesson of Gege Akutami's story. You can fight hard and you can win the terrible battle, but you can never ever get your innocence back. The truth of the ninja world is scarier than any genjutsu of the screen. But hey, that's just a deep dive for another night. Bon Kai.